Hey everyone, welcome back to Group Chat, the #1 podcast in the world. And boy, oh boy, do we have a special episode. Tequila is flowing on this Tuesday afternoon. And that is the reason why we're doing this episode. And it's about tequila. Big announcement alert. We got some special guests here. Can't wait to discuss with everyone what we're doing. And then we got some news. Talking about oil prices. We're talking about some incredible technology companies that are undervalued. And some Web3 stuff. What did Microsoft just invest into? And Bob Iger just joined the board of a local LA company. Check it out. Let's get into it.
Cash.
Ladies and gentlemen, Group Chat.
Cash.
It's $1 trillion. Hot.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, the time has come. Everyone has been waiting for this moment. You have no idea. The DMs, people just walking up to me on the streets. It's just, it's too much to bear. So we had to do it. We launched a tequila brand. Woo!
Let's go.
So you're saying the fans were begging you to launch a tequila brand? Is that what you're claiming?
You know, what happened was when The Rock launched one, everyone's like, The Rock has tequila and you don't? Who's
So
The Rock?
you're comparing yourself to The Rock.
That's that stature level, yes.
Okay.
And it's just,
So you're as big as the biggest movie star in the world.
sure.
Okay.
Maybe bigger.
Just want to
Bigger.
set the kind of baseline of where we're.
Yeah.
Go on.
I mean, look, I'm physically not bigger than him.
Mentally?
Oh, I would have never guessed.
Yeah. But ego, come on. What has he got that I don't? So for real, we have launched a tequila brand. And
We as you.
yes.
Not,
And
not me.
No. Not,
I got blocked out.
Anand got blocked out of the deal. And
Poor guy, you must be suffering over there.
And you know,
With the way growth stocks are going, I need tequila.
yeah, you need a drink more so than a brand. And so it's a really great story, and that's what we're gonna do today. We're gonna really share the story. And so Ryan Tierney, who's on the pod, who is the CEO of the business and really the heart and soul of the brand, and it's a great story because it really goes to. It's really going to go to my credit for really building this amazing community of amazing entrepreneurs. And I think, you know, I always talk about our run club, and I always talk about like, people always want, people DM me like, oh, how do you meet people? Or how do you create opportunities? Or how do you know everyone? And so much of life is just about showing up. And several years ago, I think through Taylor Offer, who invited you, said, hey, come by the Run Club. And this is probably, what, 2019?
Yeah.
Ryan came every single week to the Run Club, albeit hungover, always kind of like a little bloodshot, you know, from a night of ripping. And he you know, would come and then really just would say hi, no conversations, and then maybe like literally like a few months into it, he was like, hey, I have something I'm working on. Can I come by your office? And so, what were you doing before that, Ryan, or during that time?
Real quickly, there was a voice that, you know, the Kathy's heard.
Yes.
That's Pete.
That is Pete. And so you might, yeah, so
We'll get back to Pete.
get back to that.
But
Yeah.
Pete's here.
the voice sounds a little heavier, and there's a reason why.
He has switched to the dark side.
Yeah. And so we're going to get to Pete in a second. But Ryan, when I met him, was running an Instagram page that he turned into a travel marketing agency, which is it's pretty clever. Like, so you owned the handle at the time called Paradise. Mm-hmm. And how did you think that was a good idea for a business?
I think I was looking at social media and all these, you know, digital assets as sort of like digital real estate. And I thought they were all kind of undervalued by their owners. And you know, I thought with a good flagship channel, there was, you know, a real business to be had there.
Yeah.
And so I, you know, realized that maybe I was a little bit more sophisticated than a lot of the owners of these channels. And so that, you know, I could go negotiate brand deals that maybe some of these owners couldn't. So, you know, we essentially built an advertising network of Instagram channels in travel, culture, action, sports. The flagship channel was Paradise. And, still was kind of shooting from the hip at the time, didn't really know what I was doing. But I quickly realized I could beat out all these production companies because we had so much more audience in them. And the service offering really became content creation and then posts on the channels that we owned. And, another production company that was maybe pitching $100,000 budget, they didn't have 2.5 million followers, but I did.
Yeah. So you're able to give them the following with the content.
Exactly.
And so you do that, and you end up getting an exit, which that in itself, like, how old were you then when you sold the company?
26.
26. You had your first exit at 26 years old. And I remember...
Which is phenomenal, because it doesn't matter what you do, what industry you're in, to have an exit at 26 is very impressive.
And so you sell the company, and right when you're in the process of selling that business and kind of finding your next opportunity is when you and I met, and you said, can I come by the office? And you came by at 10 a.m. one morning.
Yeah, Friday.
And you brought tequila.
Yeah.
And obviously, I'm no stranger to tequila. I'm a aficionado. Far before The Rock was drinking tequila.
Your
I was drinking
rival.
tequila. Yeah.
That's a good Instagram, Kai.
Yeah.
Rock versus D.
Yes. Big.
Yeah. Bench press off.
I can do 2 bottles of reposado.
And run. Like, just do a run and come to drunk.
And so you're like, I'm looking to start a tequila brand, and I think the one thing that like struck me was the name. What's the name of the brand?
Lo siento.
So if you don't know Spanish, it means I'm sorry.
Yeah, it means I'm sorry. Also means I feel it, but we're obviously saying I'm sorry sarcastically, and we're taking a fun approach to the market. Obviously, having a background in digital and social, I felt like there was so much viral content marketing to be had with a name like that, and also just kind of immediately shows the consumer that you're after that you understand them, right? I'm sure Pete is in here apologizing, or was when he was working here every day.
Not really.
Apologizing.
He had a lot of like white privilege to him.
He's
Like
pretty
he'd just be
brazen.
like, I'm late.
No.
Yeah, I'm late.
Like maybe the
Pot's
one
not
time,
up.
one time
Good
I
luck,
face
guys.
planted with the 2 football players. Like, Lo siento.
So before you get into the story, you were in a digital Instagram account, which was a very crowded space when you did it, and you executed successfully. Then you decide to go into one of the most crowded spaces, period, which is a tequila brand.
Yeah.
Because, The Rock is...
Kendall
Jenner.
Yeah.
I've never heard of her.
Obviously, Clooney with Casamigos, which was years ago.
Basically, I'm George Clooney in this scenario.
So you're George Clooney meets The Rock.
Yes.
Okay.
I'm an older buff guy.
But my question is, what gave you the confidence, or basically, what'd you see that you're like, hey, I'm going to go into one of the most crowded spaces, and I'm going to win?
Yeah, I think, along the Paradise journey, we also built an influencer arm of the business, right? So we're traveling with some of the sought after photographers, content creators, vloggers, athletes. And by nature of that business, a lot of those people just became some of my best friends, right? Because we were, sharing so many cool life experiences together, jumping out of planes over Lake Tahoe, or swimming with sharks in Tahiti with no cage. And right, we built this really cool network, and I felt like I had an awesome support system for whatever the next thing I was going to do next. And I also had a unique skill set in understanding digital and social, and really understanding, like how to make good content and stuff like that. I knew it was going to be a little bit tougher than, taking an Instagram handle and turning it into a media company. But, having the background in marketing, and then taking the time to build those relationships, meet the right, tequila making families, meeting the right people in hospitality, I think we sort of over time pieced together this winning formula, and
the talent.
Yeah, and the talent. We got The Rock over there.
Talent is,
The Rock Clooney.
Rock Clooney.
Yeah.
Rock Clooney.
Yeah. And Kendall.
Rock Clooney Jenner, call me.
Maybe throw in Devin Booker. Why not, right?
An old buff model.
Yeah, Deacon Dunk.
Devin Booker's Kendall's...
Yeah, but he's not a tequila guy.
But he's a cool dude. He
I'm
looks
talking
cool.
about the
He's a cool
tequila
dude.
icons.
Yeah.
If the Mount Rushmore of tequila, it's me, The Rock, Clooney, and Kendall.
He's drinking
Hey,
Gatorade.
it's scary.
And so I think the thing that struck me first was really the name.
What'd you want from D?
Well, so at the time...
That's a great question.
Yeah, that is a good question. At the time, I was really just,
I was the most famous person you knew.
Yeah, he was a superstar. No, so we were. Yeah, I was just listening to the pod a lot, and I got to meet a lot of cool people being the founder of my business. And I quickly realized that Dee was, borderline alcoholic. And and
Which border?
We crossed the border.
And
Cross-border transaction.
and having a brand called Siento, obviously Dee likes to let it rip on the pod and has a very unapologetic nature to him.
But he doesn't say sorry.
Yeah, well, exactly. He just has a cup of our tequila, and that's all. He just kind of cheers and gives you a little smirk. Yeah. And that's kind of what the brand embodies. Like you look at your friend before, you have one beer on a Tuesday night, and then you look at each other, and you're going out all night, before work on Wednesday, and you kind of just smirk at your friend and shrug and Lo Siento.
Yeah, and I think the part that I think that I gravitated towards from the name perspective was really like understanding that when people grow up, you make a lot of mistakes in life. And I think the challenge is in the current environment is that like you as a young person aren't able to make mistakes and just move on from it. Instead, you're like held to it for the rest of your life. Mm-hmm. And I think the brand to me embodied like, look, at the end of the day, like we all make mistakes. You need, at the end of the day, if you're not yourself, and it does cause a problem for certain people, like to progress in life. And I thought, oh wow, this is really cool. At the end of the day, I'm exactly who I am, and of course, there's people that don't like what I have to say or don't agree with it, and I'm okay with that.
They drink vodka, though.
Yeah.
It's me.
Yeah. It's literally me. Yeah, you Russian commie pussy.
Maybe that's why the pod works.
You're a communist.
Because there's conflict.
Communists drink vodka. That's the problem. Yeah. But yeah, I think the brand name really gravitated. I had the same question. I was like, one, what the hell do you want to do with me? Second, like, dude, this is like the hardest space in spirits right now. Mainly because it's so competitive. And it's like, people of my caliber, like The Rock and Kendall, are out there launching tequilas. But like, one of the challenges is like the actual manufacturing of tequila and making it and the bottling and the actual process is quite complex. It's a very complex supply chain. And I was like, it has to be amazing if we're going to go do this. And so Ryan brought some tequila. We were, repping it at 10 a.m. And it was great stuff. And I think immediately what I gravitated to Ryan about was like, he was willing. He went down to Guadalajara how many times?
Yeah, I started going down to Jalisco in 2018.
2018, and during the pandemic, you were going there constantly. And we met this incredible guy, Marco, who family is like legendary tequila making family in Mexico.
And they actually still own the original distillery that De Leon tequila was launched out of. Our tequila doesn't come from there, but fun fact.
Yeah, and when you meet someone like Marco and his family, they're like purist, right? They like, we're not going to mention brand names here, but a lot of the tequila that most people drink and love has a lot of additives. And they're sweetened with sugars and cinnamons and all these type of stuff. And the thing about Marco, when Ryan and I got to meet him, we were all very adamant about like, one, obviously incredible tasting tequila, but no additives.
Yeah, and I think
additives mean what?
Sugars.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, brands put all sorts of stuff in there, but I think one of the the main points for us is we wanted to launch with a product that we were really proud of. And I think a lot of brands have it backwards. They, launch with a, marketing plan, but they're willing to launch with subpar product. And that just makes everything else you do much harder. And for us, no matter how famous Dee thinks he is, he's not as famous as The Rock.
Whoa.
Taking a shot at his partner.
Yeah, no kidding.
We're going to have a promise the next board meeting.
Hold on. I totally forgot. LeBron has tequila.
Oh, he
does?
does.
Now you're LeBron.
Mr. Lobos.
Yeah.
Now you're LeBron meets The Rock meets Kendall Jenner meets Clooney.
But
LeBronic.
Yeah, and I think a lot of those, some brands, we've seen launch with celebrities or, media companies attached to them, and they, have a harder time just because they launch with a bad product, and it really does make a difference. And for us, you know, we have a good plan, and we're, you know, launching in West Los Angeles and now expanding out to greater Los Angeles. But the product is really good, so it makes everything else we do that much easier. And we do get the word of mouth marketing when someone comes to one of my parties and they try a Reposado and they tell their friend it's the best tequila they've ever had. That does make a big difference. And it's actually something I'm proud to bring to my friends. If I'm coming to your house, if I'm, you know, selling it, I truly believe it's one of the best tequilas in the world. And
definitely.
It makes
And me being like, I've probably been drinking tequila since like, I don't know, 12, 13 years.
Since you were 12?
Years old. Wow.
Since you were 12.
Since I was 12.
Yeah.
And ironically, I don't think I had a drink in high school. I think I had one beer.
Yeah. You look like that kind
Wow,
of
that's pretty off-brand.
I was a nerd.
That's off-brand.
Yeah, I didn't drink in high school either. I didn't really drink till like junior year of college.
Yeah. I really started drinking when I was
I was
like
waiting
30.
for 21.
I really picked it up at age 30.
No, but I want to get back to one point because I think I met you, Ryan, when you were transitioning from being in the digital space to tequila. Mm-hmm. And I didn't even realize that was probably 2017, 16, maybe 18, or 2018. And that means you put 4 years of work before you decided you had a product that you were proud to like launch. And I think that's like the biggest problem specifically in CPG. Everyone's kind of just spinning up brands, spinning up products, but you put 4 years of work, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Refining this product.
Yeah.
And I think that's like it's a long time because if someone sees Los Siento, when did you actually launch? I know you've been throwing parties for a while, but
we launched in September of 2021.
Okay, so 3 years of product refining before you felt comfortable enough to having a product to launch, right? Is that fair?
Yeah. And also, you know,
That's 3 years of not earning income from this project.
oh, hold on. I still don't earn income from this project.
Talk to your
Lo
partner.
siento.
Talk to them.
I'm talent.
to the rock.
I'm not in the weeds. I'm talent.
Yeah.
You tell me to, you know, appear somewhere, I appear. That's it.
You know, the media company was ultimately kind of going to be complimentary, right? Because we were going to all these gorgeous places, and so we had unlimited content opportunities. So that was this brand was going to come with me around the world, but. You know, we ultimately engaged with a larger media company, and we negotiated the sale over a period of 6 months. And you know, obviously that freed up a lot of my time and obviously capital to kind of go all in. So it was kind of the perfect storm where while I was growing this media company, I was gaining a ton of awesome relationships, a crazy skill set, and then it all kind of came together sort of at the tail end. So we were going to try to launch in 2020 anyways, and then obviously the pandemic happened, and so we kind of put the brakes on, but I still kept going down to Jalisco and kind of refining and making sure we were dialed in. And then we went down, I think, another time in November in 2020, and I brought Pete with me in September, in August of 2021. We got some good stories from that trip. A lot of Pete sleeping in between distillery tastings. And
So what's interesting is like, so my like regular drink in tequila would always be Casamigos Reposado on the rocks, and I always thought that was just an incredible drink. And then when Ryan came down with the first iteration of the Blanco and the Reposado, I was like, holy shit, this is so good. Because at the end of the day, as the level of fame I have, I can't put out a product that people aren't going to be blown away. Like, blown away. And the one thing I always thought about tequila, most people's tequila journey is in college, you had like Jose Cuervo,
Totally.
You threw up and you probably never drank again, right? Drank tequila again. And then maybe you're in your 20s, you make a little money, you're at a nightclub, you order Patron shots. Disgusting.
Which is
You
also
throw up again.
Patron's
You don't realize that pretty much.
Yeah.
I have vivid memories in my
throwing
20s of Patron equals throw up.
Yes, and so
You don't realize it's the same thing, pretty much.
Yeah, and so I basically didn't drink tequila till in my late 20s, because of the business, was always traveling by myself, and so I'd end up at these shitty hotel bars and just sitting there talking to the bartender, and one day the guy's like, "Oh, you should. We have a tequila bar here. You should try tequila." And I was like, tequila's gross. I'm good. He's like, no, you've never had good tequila. And I remember the first tequila he poured me. This is literally 13 years ago. It was Forte Leze, and I was like,
Fortaleza?
yeah. And I was like, wow, this is really good. And so, and then I started thinking about all the other tequila brands that I got introduced to. And so then Casamigos came, and I think it's a fantastic product. And when it first launched,
It was better.
It was about a price. And it was also the price where it did, because the problem is with the celebrity vodka, celebrity tequilas outside of the Rock and Kendall Jenner's, they've all been very expensive. Everyone's Michael Jordan's focusing on a premium price point.
Jordan,
It's
too.
like $1,800, isn't it?
Yeah.
But I
It's
think-
Michael Jordan, LeBron, D, Rock, Kendall.
Every 10 minutes, it's like
Yeah, you added somebody else.
But the price point of Michael Jordan's is 150, 200. LeBron's is also premium.
Yeah, but I think when Casamigos came out, I think Casamigos also just kind of invented the celebrity booze market, right?
Yeah.
George Clooney came out. He was ripping his motorcycle in the
Hot.
Jalisco Highlands, looking super cool, right? And it was a fantastic product.
Yeah.
And they really kind of did invent this
Category, yeah.
premium tequila category that kind of migrated everyone away from vodka, in my opinion. And especially living in LA in 2017, when you see the trucks around town and everyone was like, we were not buying Tito's anymore. We were buying Casamigos and stuff. And the price point was like, okay, I'm going to spend $35 for this great tequila and I'm not going to gag because it's not Jose Cuervo.
Yeah.
And then everyone started drinking tequila and they were smart. They, penetrated the market and then they raised prices over time and then they have insane demand and the product is obviously
they're off to the
not
races.
it's not the same as it was, but they sort of invented this, wow, if I'm a celebrity I can go start an alcohol brand and make billions of dollars. So then you see all these guys flooding the market, and some of these brands are sticky and they work because they have a really devout audience, and then you also see celebrity brands fail. For us, we're trying to build a culture around the product, and our name kind of starts us off in the right area and go from there.
I want to touch on something because I think we named a lot of people, as famous as D, Michael Jordan, LeBron, Kendall, Rock,
My peers.
his peers. But what I've seen you do in the last year, or whatever, 8 months, however long it's been, is that there's actually a community behind your product. And, I'm not young and hip enough like D to attend the parties, but I watch them on Instagram.
Well, hold on, you're always invited.
I'm invited, but I'm not as hip as D.
Haven't you come?
I haven't been to a
didn't
Los
any?
Siento
Yeah.
party.
Wow.
But
They also start quite late.
Yes.
Even for the talent.
Well-
for the talent, it's a little late.
We have one.
He's in and out by midnight. He's
Not
gone.
even.
Not even
But
11:30.
what I've followed on Instagram, because I obviously follow you, the accounts, all you guys, and obviously Pete is involved, is that there seems to be something buzzing. And we've been in LA. We know, Brian Toll and John Turgeon. Brian was a club promoter.
Yeah.
20 years ago, or however long it was.
Yeah.
And to get the crowd and the number of people at a venue that you're drawing would have been like a Brian Toll dream 20 years ago as a promoter.
Yeah.
Obviously, he's an owner of, clubs and stuff, so he's
a
up.
promoter.
He's watching Netflix. He's not promoting. But my point is, that's really tough to do.
Yeah.
Really tough. It was tough 20 years ago, and it's probably tougher today.
Yeah, and I think to Ryan's credit, the thing that when you go to the events and the parties for Lo Siento, there's an energy about the room that feels like you're at something very, very special and fun. And I think the biggest advantage Lo Siento has is the product. Second, the price point, which we haven't talked. We'll get to that in a second. And third is actually, everyone uses the word community, but when you go, and if you, and we'll get to it, like they have a phone list where you can sign up and like get invited to the events. And Ryan will send out a text at like 4 p.m. By 8 p.m., 9 p.m., these places are slammed with people. It's like a great crowd. It's fun. It's really what, when you think about a spirit brand, what you want it to embody is like having a good time. And that's what Lo Siento has really done a great job of, is like, I've gone to the events, I'll be on the early side, and it's like line out the door, amazing crowd, just people that just want to have fun. Like, it's just fun. There's nothing else to it.
Yeah, there's a big difference because we get, Dee and I go to like a lot of events that are
Posturing.
Kind of they're high profile events.
Hoity-toity.
Yeah.
Hoity-toity.
No one's having fun.
Yeah.
No one's having fun. Miserable.
Everyone's just on their phone texting.
They want to be seen there.
Yes.
Yes.
There's like
I'm at a hot party, but it's not fun.
Yeah.
Yeah. And what I see on Instagram, even though I haven't been, but it seems like a lot of fun.
It's a lot of fun.
Like a lot of people.
It's a lot of fun.
I mean, let's bring up Pete here. Pete's been sitting here for the last 20 minutes. First of all, Pete's put on some LB.
I put like 20 pounds on since I've left.
20 pounds. Is that
20
because you're no
pounds
longer
since
part of the
podcast?
running
It has
club and
nothing
your
to do
life
with
has
the tequila.
spiraled out of control? What is the reason?
Not spiraling. I think it's just a mix of partying a lot, which is great.
Savage.
But then just, getting back into exercising again.
So, I mean, Ryan's pretty fit. I always see him playing
Yeah,
basketball.
yeah,
and
He's
running
like playing
and shit.
basketball at 6 a.m. or something,
Yeah.
right?
So
Yeah, I'm
what-
golfing at 6 a.m. That's a difference.
But golfing's a heavy set sport
What does that mean?
for heavier folks.
Yeah, John Daly.
Yeah, he's a scratch golfer. He's better than me.
Pete's the John Daly of tequila.
That's just, I just want to be smoking cigs, getting drunk, playing golf.
But you work, so a lot of the people that listen to this podcast know you near and dear.
Yes.
Right? You were an integral part for a long time.
I also thought my return to this pod was going to be when Doge hit $1.
Doge at
Not
10
even
cents,
anywhere
right?
close.
It's never going to happen.
No, I was like, maybe like 8 years from now.
So you
this is much
left the
better.
podcast.
Yes.
When was it? Last May?
Yeah, June.
June. And you left partially because of the high price of Doge.
Yeah.
And you were going to join another spirits brand or a canned beverage brand, and then fast forward, you connected with Ryan. You guys hit it off, and you started working in marketing and content with Ryan.
Correct. I mean, and that's just kind of, I think, to your point, a birth out of what was the run club. Because I think I was there one of the first days he came. I
Yeah.
actually remember he didn't actually run.
Yeah.
He was on a little scooter board. Because I think he had hurt his ankle or something. And I was like, who's this
Shoulder-
fucking guy
Yeah.
just zipping up and down? And I
Shoulder
was like-
surgery, but
Yeah.
whatever.
Yeah. And I was just like,
And that's also not true. We actually foot raced on the first day and I smoked.
so, some details missing. But it was just like birthed out of that. And, you meet him and we just kept doing like random projects together. And one thing led to the next. And then I've obviously was around you at the office and was knowing about this project. But then, once we went down to Jalisco together in Guadalajara, that kind of set it up for what it is now. But
And full circle, you still work for me.
yeah, some way or another. It's like I tried to get away and then I just really didn't go anywhere. So I went like next door.
Let's
you went to the West Side.
revisit. So you said, what month did you leave last year? June of 2021.
Yeah.
So we're
Sort of
on
a-
9 months now.
Yeah.
Call it. And what's your experience been?
Which part? Leaving here?
Yeah, leaving here.
Well,
You had to find your footing.
Correct.
And like, how was that just like, as a mid-20s guy that moved to LA kind of during the pandemic, was it fun? Was it depressing?
Oh, no, it was a lot of fun. I mean, even through working here and then after and then now into Lo Siento, I mean, I'm a very social guy, so I don't really sit at home and do nothing all day. But yeah, it's good. I mean,
A lot of meals.
A lot of what?
A lot of meals.
Yeah, a lot of going out, eating. But yeah, it was good. It was fun. I mean, as long as you can get out there and find people and connect with people, you're going to have a good time. So
What he's saying is it's way more fun working for you.
yeah.
But you're happy with your decision.
Oh, 100%.
Well, he has no choice. He's paying his
you
check.
But what about? This is a perfect like segment about just kind of how young people, in my opinion, view work.
Sure.
When you worked here,
Yeah.
it was show up to the office, at a certain hour,
Yeah.
leave at a certain hour, and you sit in an office.
Right.
And that clearly wasn't appealing to you.
No.
And now,
But I guess you put in more hours with him than you did with us.
But they're more fulfilling hours.
no, my point
mean,
is,
but it is to
it's
that
like
experience,
the appealing
yes.
of like,
Right.
fuck the office.
Right.
I need to be out in the streets.
Right. Well, yeah, it's an embodiment of like, I'm not stuck in an office all day. It's long hours. There's a lot of shit going on. But that's all like worth it at the end of the day. Cause right, I'm out having an experience, and
So it doesn't
working on a
feel
really
like
fun
work.
project.
You're saying if you don't sit in
Yeah,
front of a
some
computer,
days
it
when I
doesn't
wake
feel
up,
like work.
yeah, some days when I wake up hungover and I have to be in by like 10.
I think also, first off, Pete's been crushing it for us because he's does a lot of like, sort of like a Swiss Army knife because we're such a small team. So we're asking him for design stuff and then content. But we also get to do a lot of cool stuff.
The last thing Pete is Swiss.
Maybe an Irish Army knife.
Dee's been reloading on the tequila.
Yeah.
But we get to do a lot of cool stuff. We're having parties in Palm Springs and also just get to meet people as part of the core team because that's we're a pretty lean team, and also I think Pete can grow into like a leadership role eventually at the business. So yeah, it's been fun for all of us.
There was also a point of like, how do I get into these parties and how do I meet these people? I just got to work for a guy who starts the entire thing.
Yeah, and I think that's it's important because like. One, if you're listening to the episode, you should. It is a party. If you're listening to the episode, so Lo Siento launched a text message kind of following. So similar to how people have a social media following, their marketing is really during text. And so, what's the number for that?
The number is 310-564-0597.
Okay, so that's 310-564-0597. So if you text that number, one, you'll get on the Lo Siento list. A couple things happen. One is the events that these guys throw, the only way to find out about them is through the text. Mm-hmm. So they're throwing like a St. Patrick's Day party.
Tomorrow, or no?
Thursday.
2 p.m., midday, so bring your
2
boss.
2 p.m.?
Look, we got the...
It's 2 to 2 tomorrow.
We got the whole Victorian, all 3 stories, rented top to bottom.
Where's Victorian?
It's in Santa Monica.
Is that the hotel?
Yeah, no, it's the white structure that has a downstairs and a upstairs.
Oh, is it an
right?
ocean?
And there's a middle
Middle.
as well.
That's on Main.
Yeah, it's 3 stories.
Okay.
It's huge. There'll be probably about 1,000 people there by 3 p.m. tomorrow.
And you're the whole party?
Yeah, we have it's exclusively our tequila being poured.
1,000 people by 3 p.m.
Who are these people? Don't work.
I mean, Pete
Look,
does.
it's,
It's a bunch of
Who's
people.
going to be there? Like Robbie Snyder? He's just going to ditch his job.
No, he didn't. We didn't invite him.
So you're gonna have this party, and I think one, if you live in LA, you should definitely sign up for this list. If
Yes.
you don't live in LA, you should sign up just to get FOMO because I'm on the list. It is just like seeing the pictures, the content, and everything that happens afterwards. It's just a fun thing. And if you ever do come to LA, and Ryan's basically throwing parties weekly.
Yeah, pretty much.
Pretty
At this
Sometimes,
rate,
At this rate, it's basically every week, and I think that's a separator for this brand is that it truly is a community. It's like an experiential thing, and so if you live in LA, the West Side has a ton of places that carry the brand, liquor stores and restaurants. What are some of the bars and restaurants that are like notable that you would say on the West Side that people can check it out?
I'd go to Bell's, Thunderbird, Cloverfield, Buff Club, tons of spots. We're also, shout out, going to be in all the Hwood locations this week. So if you like going to Delilah or Nice Guy or Santolina or Bootsy, order our tequila. And if you're going to a place and they don't have it, order it anyways. So then when we come knocking on their door, the bar manager or the GM's like, fuck, I've been hearing about this. It makes it easier for us to close accounts.
Yeah,
so get out there and just start requesting it.
Yeah, so Kathy's, if you are in hospitality and you guys sell tequila, please help us. We want to get into all the restaurants, nightclubs all over the country. We're opening up distribution everywhere. Got a huge presence coming in Nashville soon.
Yep.
So look out for that. And we're look, at the end of the day, we're going to need everyone's support and help. The product is incredible. What's the retail price of the Blanco and what's the retail price of the Reposado?
So the Blanco is $35
Yep.
and the Repo is $40.
So if you are an avid tequila drinker, to find a great tequila at that price is impossible. Literally impossible.
Yep.
Even Casamigos has raised their prices in LA. They're $55 to $60.
That's her Blanco.
Yeah. And so we're really looking to offer a premium product at an accessible price because that's where we think the opportunity is.
Yep. And hit us up if you're in LA or Nashville. We just actually closed on a deal to be the exclusive tequila of the Nashville SC soccer team. It's the largest soccer stadium in the country, and we have an 8,000 square foot Lo Siento goalpost club in one of the areas of the stadium.
Wow.
So we actually closed that deal last week. The first home game is on May 1st.
Wow. So if you're a Kathy in Nashville, hit us up
For tickets.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe I'll come for that.
Yeah,
Well,
you probably should.
I think Talented is expected to be there.
Oh yeah.
When
It's
do
part
they
of the
play-
contract.
We got to
Sorry.
find out when they
Contract.
play LAFC. We'll go to that game.
In LA or in,
the last game of the year
Is in LA.
is in LA.
wow.
Yeah.
At LAFC or is it?
LAFC.
Oh.
Yeah. And then the LA Galaxy plays us. See, I'm on the team now. They play us September 10th, I believe, in Nashville. So that'd be a fun game. Get all the LA
So
people
when's
out there.
the Nashville LAFC game here?
I don't know.
Yeah.
End of the
Pete,
season in fall.
Hold on.
In the fall.
If you don't live in LA or Nashville,
Yes.
guess what? You could still get the tequila online. So one of the big part of what we're doing is there's an enormous amount of disruption happening in the direct-to-consumer spirit space. So on LoSientoTequila.com, you can order tequila to about what, like 35, 40 states,
39.
39 states.
You're supposed to know this.
Well, I'm talent.
Talent doesn't know
Talent
these
doesn't
things.
know numbers, details. So if you go to LoSientoTequila.com, you can try the Reposado, the Blanco. You can order direct delivery to your home. And guess what? We got a code. What's our code?
Pete,
Pete,
what's the
Code's
code?
GROUPCHAT 20, baby.
Group chat. And you get 20% off?
20% off 2 bottles or more.
Yeah.
If you order 6 bottles or more, free shipping.
Wow.
Yeah, order a case.
So,
Yeah.
and then you're getting at the straight retail price.
Great. So LoSientoTequila.com. Delivery to your door. Use the code GROUPCHAT20. I'm telling you, this Reposado, if you're a tequila drinker and you love a Reposado on the rocks, this will be the best Reposado you've ever had.
Reposado on the rocks with a slice of orange.
Slice of orange. If you want to make margarita with the Blanco, I am an incredible Blanco. I'm
getting
fucking
loose in
3
here.
drinks. I'm 3 drinks in here. I haven't had lunch
Slurring.
either. Blanco. I have an incredible recipe that I will share with you all.
Oh.
Okay.
You got to text a number to get it.
Text the number to get it, and you'll get Dee's margarita recipe. The number is 310-564-0597. If you want to know why my wife stayed with me during the pandemic, is this margarita. Not even
You
joking.
just kept her drunk the whole time?
I mean,
or what?
things were, they were rocky.
Yeah.
Things were rocky. And I was just like, all right, let's have a cocktail. And I made this margarita.
That's pretty good.
I'm telling you, every person that listens to this podcast should know how to make this margarita. It is a party starter.
There you go. You got
And
the
for
text.
all the other married men out there,
Yeah.
if your wife is mad at you,
This margarita.
Lo
is-
Siento.
Yes, yeah, exactly. So
text group chat.
the code is group chat.
Yeah, so you have to text us group chat to 310-564-0597 so that we know.
That
And
you're
then we're
group
going to
chat
return
listener.
everybody a little recipe of D's.
Okay, so that's the number. LoSientoTequila.com is the website. We are very excited about this launch. If you are in hospitality and you want Lo Siento at your bar, restaurant, next big event, let us know. Hit us up. What's the Instagram handle, Pete?
At Lo Siento.
At Lo Siento. So hit us up and let's make this the next $1 billion tequila brand.
deal.
Deal. I'm in.
All right, let's get into the episode. All right, now that everyone knows what the number one tequila in the world is, Lo Siento, we are going to get into some news. The biggest news of the day, I could not believe it. This is something I've been asking for 20 years.
What's that?
The Senate has passed a bill that would make daylight savings time permanent. It is getting sent to the House now, and it could get implemented as early as November of 2023.
So basically, spring forward becomes the new norm. So what the time is today becomes the new norm. I believe there's 29 states, if I recall, have had legislation that have been trying to change it. Mm-hmm. So the majority of people want to keep it spring forward.
Yeah, why would anyone want it darker unless you're an owl?
I just, to be honest, like, I get it. If
owls, they're like, yeah, we can't come out. Like, you know, wait till the night.
It's weird though. So like yesterday, for example, Maverick sleeps around 7, and around 6:15, he's done with dinner and all his stuff, and it's bright as day. And I was like, this doesn't feel right that he needs to be getting ready for bed.
I like it.
It's way better.
It's way better.
But do your kids sleep right away at 7?
We have blackout curtains in their room. Like they can't. They might as well think they're in space.
So what I did, which was like what I never do. Typically, it's just go to the bath and you calm down. And it was so bright outside, I just took them on a walk. And I was like, you can't go to sleep with this much
we
light
close
out.
all the windows. We got to simulate. Dominic, like, is it the middle of the night? I'm like, it is in the middle of the night.
This is at 7:30.
Yeah, this is at 7.
7. So I guess the majority of people, granted, want this, and that's fine. What needs to actually happen? If the House passes...
Yeah.
Well,
I think it's done.
It's done,
yeah.
and we'll get implemented by the fall, so we won't have a fall backwards. And the other thing as a parent...
I don't think this year it gets implemented. It's 1 year after. Because schedules have been done for so many things already that they cannot be reversed. So we're at least like 18 months away, it sounds like.
My real issue as a parent with young kids, and you the same, is like pick a time. Kids they get in routines, they sleep at a certain time, they wake up at a certain time.
I'm down for it to be 2 hours ahead, so it's bright till 9 p.m.
So why don't you just move?
To where?
Alaska.
Yeah, Alaska.
Never gets dark in the summer.
Go to like
in
Norway.
the summer, in the winter, it's dark all day.
Go to Norway.
I don't want to live in Norway.
Like you want light till 11 p.m.? Even London gets light till like 8, 10 p.m.
Paris in the summer is light till freaking all day, all night. Yeah.
Yeah, in Northern Europe, light is, in the summer at least.
I have an amazing video when we were all in Europe for Brian's wedding, and we were in Paris. It was like 10:30 at night. Dominic just eating at a cafe in Paris, and it was bright out.
That's awesome.
I'm sure I was there.
Yeah, I'm sure. But yeah, I look, this is a change that should have been done a very, very long time ago. So I'm glad that it's done. And
I think sticking to one time is fine. If you're a night owl, you're a night owl. If you want daylight, you want daylight. Just stick to one time.
This isn't good for Batman.
It's less hours for Batman.
Yeah.
Maybe he's lazy.
He is lazy. A lot of crime right now in the city. Yeah. He's not doing shit. Well, great. Well, I'm excited about this. I love daylight. I like being outside during the daytime. Yesterday, we went for a walk too after dinner. And, obviously pre the time changing, we don't want to go out at night with the kids when it's dark, when they're riding their bikes and shit. So, fantastic. I love it. Great work, the U.S. Senate. Hopefully the House passes it. I bet if someone comes up for a reason to not vote on this.
I feel like AOC is going to say no.
It affects the nighttime parking attendants. They're not able to get...
I could see it.
We'll see. Moving on. So the big news is oil prices are down. And just for people that are following this, pre-Russia-Ukraine crisis, oil was trading in the 90s. Yep. Like mid-90s. And then when the Russia-Ukraine war started, crude oil shot like above $130 a barrel. It is now back down to like mid to late 90s. That was such a big deal, in my opinion, that the prices come down. So that means they aren't as concerned about what's happening on the war. But like when you look at what's happened in the stock market, today was like the first day where you actually saw like a real positive jump. The Federal Reserve has a meeting tomorrow where they'll decide on the interest rate hikes and then also indicate what their feeling is on inflation. So it's a pretty big week in terms of financial news. And the stock market reacted pretty positively to it. The thing on...
Not my stocks.
No, unfortunately, I just jumped in on one of your stocks and it didn't do fucking well.
It wasn't a good day for me.
No, it was not. And what's interesting is that like everything else went up except your stocks.
Yeah, that's pretty much been the pattern for the last 6 months.
Yeah. You know, buy low, stay low. And I think the interesting thing is now. You have oil prices coming down, which was the biggest cause of inflation in the last 30 days. Stock market is now feels like, okay, we went up today. Let's see the rest of the week. The Russia-Ukraine thing is kind of settling down. Hopefully there's a true resolution there. If that's the case, then what you see in the stock market. So I saw someone post that Zoom is trading below pre-pandemic.
Yeah.
And their revenue...
A lot of stocks are.
And their revenue has 5x. They were an $800 million company. They went to $4 billion. And the stock is trading below pandemic. Coinbase. I would say crypto adoption is at an all-time high.
Yeah, it's probably... I mean, since their IPO, which was April of 2021, I would say crypto adoption is probably 2-3x.
And the stock is trading at $151 or something in that range, which is 52-week low.
Yep. IPO'd at 250, went up to 450, now down to 150.
And there's so many companies. Even Shopify is trading near pandemic lows.
Yeah, I think a lot of the software businesses specifically, in addition to like even DoorDash, all-time low, the software businesses are trading at pre-pandemic lows. So like Snowflake, for example, all-time low. And Snowflake was like the darling of software businesses. I know we joked about it with Michael Katz. None of us know what they do, but at least he did. He tried to explain it. But it's known as like a blue chip asset. But there's so many different factors going on with all these companies, which is why there's not like a blanket reason for each company. So we can go down the list. For example, like a company like DoorDash, SoftBank is a major owner of DoorDash. SoftBank is blanket selling DoorDash, including one of my positions in a very big way.
Yeah.
And
they need liquidity.
They need liquidity, and they're indiscriminate on price, and they're crushing the stock. Because when you see like $1 billion block willing to be sold, the buyer is just going to play a game of chicken. Like, you need to sell $1 billion.
Yeah. So why am I buying?
Why am I buying at this price? Give me a cheaper price. And they do this. And so that's one reason. Like SoftBank was pretty much driving up most of growth tech in the private markets, pre-pandemic. And now all these companies are public and they want to get out, and they own so much of these companies. Yeah. That people know, like,
you got to sell it.
Yeah, you have to sell it, and if you want to sell that big of a block, like, all right, like any trade, they're like, we know you need cash, because they're also a massive owner of Alibaba. Yeah, and Alibaba is trading at below IPO prices, and the IPO was what 10 years ago, probably. Yeah. 7, 8 years ago, I don't know, whatever it was.
Yeah, I can't believe what Alibaba is trading at.
So Alibaba is trading at as low as it is because there's a fear if it gets delisted from Western stock exchanges. Yeah. And people, I mean, if you're Alibaba and you're no longer, if American institutions aren't able to buy it, your stock's just not going to be worth that much.
Yeah. And I think they're the largest e-commerce company in the world.
Yeah, I think they do like 300, 400 billion in revenue, something like that.
Yeah, they're like bigger than Amazon in terms of true e-commerce revenue.
Yeah.
Which is just insane.
And then you have this piece. What I'm talking about is like people knowing investors want liquidity. Then you have the second piece, which is the Fed. The Fed has a meeting tomorrow to talk about interest rates. No one knows what's going to happen.
Yeah.
It seems like the market was up today that people are expecting the Fed not to be as hawkish on inflation.
But they got to raise rates tomorrow. They have to.
They're going to raise a quarter minimum.
Yeah.
It's just what they signal
Yeah.
in the future.
Yeah.
So everyone's going to think about signaling.
Yeah.
And so you have that piece. Then you have the Russian-Ukraine piece. And then you have just like just complete uncertainty. Like, I don't know. Technology stocks look really cheap right now. I mean, even Microsoft's down 15%.
Yeah. We love Microsoft.
Yeah. No, I'm serious.
No, I mean, not even just. There's incredible companies. Even Zoom, which like you could argue the usage has gone down. It is definitely not worth less than it was pre-pandemic. It's just not.
No, it's not.
And so isn't, just considering what Coinbase is valued at, or Shopify is valued at, or DoorDash is valued at. These are like generational companies.
DoorDash is going to be fine. I mean, it's like, I don't care what price DoorDash gets down to. In 5 years, it's going to be worth more than it is
What if it
today.
goes down to 50 cents?
Then that means someone committed financial fraud.
Or people just stopped ordering delivery. Delivery is a pretty bad experience.
I don't know. I do it every day.
Because you have no choice.
So what would be the alternative? Driving and picking up food?
No, either eating out or cooking at home.
No one's cooking at home.
I cook at home. I genuinely don't like getting delivery. I don't want to spend like $160 and like the food is cold and gross.
Well, you have to order from places where you know.
Subway.
Like, it's
Subway
gonna
is
be
great
held.
to order. It's fresh.
Veggie Grill's great. You get the same experience.
You
as
can't
if
order hot food. That's a big part of it.
And the drivers, sometimes they dip into your fries a little bit.
They've gotten good at sealing the
Little
bags.
pube,
All the
little
bags.
That was a
you-
big. They did a
That's
big
a big
poll
thing.
about like drivers that have, admitted to like, eating a couple chicken nuggets or something. Out of
I'm sure
some-
they're doing worse.
spitting in your McFlurry.
Yeah.
But in general, I think there's so much uncertainty. All stocks are down. We know people are greedy. If anything, we learned about in March 2020, everyone's looking for a time to buy, not a time to sell.
Yeah.
And even today, do you hear people saying like we need to sell? Everyone's like, is it the bottom? Do you know how many texts I get a day? Like, oh, stocks are looking cheap. Stocks are looking cheap. These are all sophisticated folks that like everyone's greedy. Everyone
Yeah.
wants to find the bottom. Is the bottom today or is it in 2 weeks or a month? I have no freaking clue. Do we go down another 20, 30%? But everyone wants to go back up.
Yeah.
So what happens? It's going to go back up.
Yeah, our friend Michael Katz actually shared us a chart on our group chat about the first, I think, 49 days of the year and how so price returned through 48 trading days. So in 2009, the first 48 days was down 16.9%. And then from day 49 to year end, it was up 48%. In 2020, the first 48 days was down 15.1% and it was up 37%. In 1935, it was down 14.1%, then up 64%. Where in 2022, it's number 4, 11.8%. The trend historically would say that from here on out to the end of the year, you should see some sort of positive upswing.
Yeah, absent China arming Russia or Russia nuking someone, you would think we're near a bottom.
Yeah.
Those are the two variables, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Outside of those two variables, I think, I mean, by any metrics, so many of these companies look so cheap.
Yeah.
Like, it's crazy. And I think people will pile in once they figure out the certainty on those two things.
Yeah.
And I don't think it's in not anyone's interest if a nuclear bomb goes off, including Russia's, because the world ends. We all die. Right? That's what happens.
That's not hot.
It's not good for your tequila brand.
It's not
Terrible for the tequila market.
yeah, not good for tequila.
Tough to go to a nightclub when it's in
it's-
rubble.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think no one's incentivized, including Russia, to do that. And I think people know that. And I mean, by any metric, companies were severely overvalued, I'd say 12 to 18 months ago. And they seem, at least the blue chip growth tech companies seem pretty undervalued. And I think what you'll see happen really soon is just like a flight to quality. And the quality companies will do fine by just performing in earnings and fundamentals.
Yeah, and so that'll be in the next cycle.
Yeah, it'll take 6 to 12 months, I think. But I think it might not. Think about it. November to March, everything's down 70%.
Yeah.
So think about how quickly that is. Yeah. It could just quickly bounce back in the same realm if you have a quality company. So I'm not giving up on tech, if that's the question. I mean, e-commerce is going to be bigger next year than it is the year before.
Is it?
What, are you going to start lining up and buying milk?
I like to buy my milk and pick my avocados like every other person.
You like to
milk your milk.
Yeah.
You want to go
full cow.
You want to go get your diapers for Miles?
Yeah.
Or
he has to learn how to wipe his own ass. Time to grow up, kid.
Diapers, wipes, napkins, your toilet paper. You want to go line up in toilet paper like March of 2020 when everything was running out?
I don't know. Our mom got us our toilet paper last week from Costco. I didn't have to order it online.
Okay.
She was like, I'm at Costco. You want something? I'm like, yeah, we need some toilet paper. All right. Well, it's going to be either way.
It's choppy. It's going to be choppy.
Yeah, it's going to be a lot of volatility. Moving on to some Web3 talk, since that's the hot thing. 2 things. Microsoft invested today, is one of the investors now in a company called Consensus, which is the company that owns MetaMask. And this company, Consensus, raised $450 million from Microsoft, SoftBank, and Temasek at a $7 billion valuation. That's insane.
Yeah, so the founder of Consensus, Joseph Lubin, created basically like a network of Ethereum developers. And in 2014 and 2016, Ethereum actually launched. And Consensus has been kind of the driver of all of Ethereum adoption since then. And I think, this investment just like obviously legitimizes like even more, even though we didn't need more legitimizing, like Microsoft investing in this is basically like Bitcoin's, in my opinion, it's a safe asset that's going to be like a reserve asset like gold, but way bigger than gold. And then Ethereum's where all the application's going to be. And everything in Ethereum everything's going to be a derivative of Ethereum to apply for all these different products. And I think everyone realizes that, and it's pretty obvious.
Yeah, I think big investment. I mean, this is a perfect company that like, if you, especially MetaMask, given what Facebook was into, like, why didn't they invest in this round? Why didn't they just buy the damn company? Like, I don't think this affects regulation. This is pretty...
It wouldn't, but knowing kind of how these guys work, because I've met some people that are like Consensus employees, they're like anti-Facebook.
I don't think they took money from Microsoft, SoftBank, and Temasek. They're huge companies.
They are huge, but I don't think they like Zuck.
I don't know. That's interesting. The other big...
and what's interesting about Consensus is because I met people from Consensus in 2018. This is right after the peak of the ICO boom. They're all remote, or mostly remote. So they were early on this stuff.
Puerto Rico.
I'm sure there's a ton of Consensus in Puerto Rico.
Yeah. The other big metaverse news is Bob Iger, the former CEO of Disney, has joined the board of Genies, which is a local LA company in the avatar space. Ryan's friends with Akash, the founder.
Shout out to the whole Genies team. Akash, Jake Becker, Allison, Evan, everyone over there. I have an interesting story about these guys. They actually, when they had an office above Tacos Por Favor in Venice.
Okay.
And when in the early days when I was growing Paradise, Akash said, you should just come to our office and work. And so I used to go to the office, and he would introduce me to like people coming through, like Ryan from HR or Ryan from this, and they would have the craziest people coming through their office every day.
Wow.
Fast forward now, they are in like 100,000 square foot warehouse in Marina Del Rey, slides in their office, crazy business. Shout out to those.
Yeah, I mean,
guys.
I get it why Bob Iger is interested in this, because he came from Disney. The next evolution of creators are probably going to come from this digital metaverse space. The idea of like, in this article in Wall Street Journal, they talk about like, you know, why can't you dress up your version of the Mickey Mouse the way you want to dress it up? And just thinking about that possibility for like a young person who's a fan of some, you know, digital character, and just think about the IP like a company like Disney has that will be avatars in the metaverse that people can customize. I think it's such a massive opportunity.
And they're also doing something really cool. They're building tools for creators. So like, say you're a fashion designer in the metaverse, you can go release a shoe collection that people in the metaverse can go buy. So they're creating these monetization tools for creatives and creators. And then, you know, obviously you've seen the skins that are in Fortnite and stuff like that, but they've got, you know, stuff like that exists for these genies that they're creating and that they've created for celebrities, and then the common
that's
consumer.
super interesting, because I think that really is like, for a lot of people who believe in the space, like that's the future, and genies seems like they're the kind of leader in the avatar space.
Certainly.
And I remember meeting him with you early on, and I'll be honest, I didn't get what they were doing because I just didn't understand avatars and where their use in society was, and probably because I don't play video games, so I have no idea like what's the point of this. But now seeing it, he was pretty ahead of his time.
Oh man, I mean, I was in the same boat as you, and he, you know, the way he used to describe it, like your digital identity, he was so good at describing that. And yeah, when we were talking to them in 2019, you know, they also have, you know, a fund attached to the business as well.
Yeah.
And they get a lot of access to really cool businesses now due to where they're at. But, you know, he was telling us about, you know, the future of your digital identity and what you're going to wear in the digital world. And I was like, what? Like what I'm going to wear in the digital world? Like, how about my shoes in the real world?
Exactly.
But now, not only are they driving this cool economy for, you know, your digital identity, your digital perception, now they're actually creating tools for people to become a sneaker Steve in the digital world, right?
Yeah.
And an economy for it. So, you know, Justin Bieber in theory could go buy some sneakers that you created that there's only 10 of. Yeah. Right. So it is pretty cool. And it's sort of fascinating to see how all this plays out. Because, you know, I'm not dressing myself in the digital world yet, but maybe I'm going to be swagged out pretty soon.
Yeah, it's fascinating, and I think you know, it's cool that it's an LA company, and you know I'm excited to see kind of what they do next.
Yeah, no, I mean, I think Bob Iger joining the board is like a huge vote of confidence. Yeah, Bob Iger is a legend. Yeah, the things he did at Disney, obviously ESPN, like all this that he's accomplished, and he's willing to go in the metaverse. Good for a local LA company.
And a cool article I saw yesterday when they made this big announcement, it was Akash saying this summer, he was like, we are going to be the Disney of the decentralized world. And then fast forward 6 months later, and Bob Iger's on their board. It's pretty awesome.
And like, props to Bob Iger at 71 diving into the metaverse.
Yeah. Like at 71, the only place you can dive in is the metaverse.
No, he's one of those like 4 a.m. biking, swimming. He's in perfect shape. He's probably gonna live to 120.
You see the genie they made him?
No,
it's like this reveal, and he's walking out, and he's got like this swag, like puffy jacket on. He's looking all swagged out in the metaverse. So I
don't think Bob Iger is leaving the real world anytime soon.
Okay, all right, Bob. Is that what we call you, Bob?
Bob.
All right. Well, that's all we have. We will see you back here on Thursday. We got some more special guests coming up for that. More importantly, head over to losientotequila.com. Get yourself a bottle. Use the code GROUPCHAT20 and head on over to our text message list, 310-564-0597. And maybe we'll see you at the next event. Bye-bye.
Peace.
Bye.